Hey!
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself, I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday to you. Thanks for being with us on the program. Alex, Kirry, Jeremiah Jensen. We are at the Boat Show and Water Sports Expo. Don't forget the water sports part. Hey, you know what? Anything even remotely adjacent to anything water-related. I mean, this company right in front of us is showing you how to get your is the life jacket for the dog. You know what I mean? We got the dog life jackets going on.
Stunt puppy.
Yeah, man. They got it all here. So, and don't forget too, they have the guy with the cheese and the meats. Remember?
That's my favorite guy.
I lose a lot of money every year at this place, only to the cheese and meat guy. So, I did step on a $1 million boat.
Oh my gosh!
And I stepped right back off again. No, I stayed on it. It was phenomenal. It's actually it's like right in front of us. You go step on it, and it's got screens everywhere. And
would you say that you climbed aboard?
I did climb aboard. I didn't sing the jingle because it got a little weird
Why not?
yesterday. Well, because I didn't want to give away that I was excited to be there. You got to show.
What you do. You approach the boat.
Yeah.
And then as you're about ready to step on the boat, you say, the boat show is here, and then you climb aboard.
And then when you kick off your loafers, your sailor loafers, they know, oh, your boat shoes. Okay. Oh, I'm serious. I'm serious about being at the boat show.
Boat guy, huh?
Yeah, oh, yeah. So we just tied some flies here at the Fly Tie Theater next to us. So we've got it all going here. Welcome to the program. A hearty congratulations to our colleague Hans Olsen, who is walking away from the biz. But you know what? Leaving it better than he found it, to be quite honest. And so the good news is we still get to interact with Lloyd and Scotty on a daily basis, and I'm interested to see what the future is going to look like there on that portion of the day. But what you do know is that those guys are pros, and man, I hope Hans finds exactly what he wants in that. I can guarantee just at least the stress of the radio part. It might be replaced by other stress, but I hope he gets some extra time back and maybe some extra dollars in the pocket, and he does all the things he wants to do. So congrats to him, man. It was awesome.
I don't think there's a Sports Talk Radio Hall of Fame in Utah, but if there was, he would be inducted first ballot.
Very neat. Oh.
An incredible run he had. You look at all the memories, and it was fun listening to the show, and I listened on the way in, and Coach Mack was there. I mean, you can't have Kansas Lax show without Coach Mack.
And sharing
all the memories,
sharing inappropriate stories. It has to happen.
I mean, essentially, he is. I don't know how else to put it, but to call it radio memes. Like
I know. It's exactly
Kansas had so many radio memes over 19 years,
yep.
And all of you that listened and enjoyed their show, and Scotty and Hans have their show for 12 years has just been phenomenal. All the great moments, they're not going to go away. You're going to remember those, and we'll still check in with Hans every now and again on BYU coverage. He's still going to do the radio broadcast with Greg Wrubell, and we're not going to let him go completely. We're going to keep tapping into his expertise and talking to him during football season. That's for sure.
Oh no! If we can get free work out of you, we'll do it. Like that's definitely our.
Well, I know
what
I know what he charges, and it's not going to be free.
You've had to tap into that already. Did you already get sold some insurance?
Not yet.
Oh boy, that's a quick.
He's
turnaround.
got bigger fish to fry than me.
That's a quick turnaround. All right, we got lots to get to here at the Boat Show. Yes, we're at the Modern America Expo Center here in Sandy, and it's one of those, JJ, you know when it's serious. You know when it's a serious show when they open all the doors for all the exhibitors to be able to put everything out there on the floor. And, yes, it is every square inch of this place covered in awesome things that you're going to walk around to. And so there's the long-term commitment you can make on the boat, and there's a lot of short-term commitments you can make around here too. There's a lot of the trinkety stuff is the stuff I like to buy. You know what I mean? Like you just walk by and you go, I do need a new set of sunglasses. I do need to get back into this thing with with what we're doing here. So we're going to be chatting with some of the folks from the boat show here throughout the afternoon, and we're going to keep you up to date on what's going on. And so it's Yeah, it's an exciting time, man. I mean, I always love coming to the boat show. I brought my little boys for the first time. I didn't know. I never remember who's who of my kids who I've brought to these kinds of things and who haven't. But they were like, have you ever done this before? I was like, oh, I've done some boat shows, my guy. And they were like, we've never come. And I was like, I have shorted these guys of the experience of the boat show. And the first boat they stepped on was the $1 million boat.
Good choice.
Not a good idea. No, but show price, it's like $780. Yeah. That's JJ. That's $280,000 in savings. Is it? That's
well, if you're going to save $220,000, that as I think a lot of people do that kind of math. They go, if I wasn't there, I wouldn't have gotten that deal. Right.
I saved us.
You saved
$240,000.
You saved $250,000.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great way to put it.
How many of you have saved $250,000 in a day?
Yeah.
You can do that at the boat show today.
Imagine what you could buy with $250,000 that you saved today at the boat show.
Well, you do that, and then you can go out and get some of this other stuff.
I love it. Oh man, I don't even have a dog, and I want to get one of these life jackets.
You could get your next dream build right here. You could get a timeshare.
I'm telling you, it's a fun time to
luxury
come down.
surf community.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of those. Yeah, there's
cool.
a lot of that going on. Hey, let's kick the show kicked off as usual. As usual. As you can tell, I've got food on the brain as well.
Let's do a cooking show.
Let's kick everything off here officially on the program because Alex Napolis knows. Heaven knows we've put together a show. We better get to it. Coming up in just a little bit, Travis Yost is going to join us. He talks, of course, hockey, all things hockey with TSN, and he's going to give us his thoughts on the historic meltdown that I found myself absolutely kicking myself going, congratulating all the Mammoth friends that I have via text. I think it may have been me that ruined it all in that one moment by celebrating way too early.
It was hard to watch.
It was tough, that last 2.5 minutes. Luckily, it didn't last long because it was so close to the end of the game that it happened. So we'll talk to Travis Yost, get to his thoughts on the historic comeback that the Carolina Hurricanes put on in those last 2 minutes, and it is historic. So, all right, let me see here. JJ, let's get the cut going here so we can get right into it. We've got tons to get to today. Let's do it right now with the cut.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, guess what we got going on here? It's that time of the day for us to bring you the kudos to the people we love who have come on board. It's Croft Fireplaces. Croft Fireplaces, of course, sponsors of our Hot and Cold we do every day here, and lots going on in the world of trying to figure out. I mean, the interesting thing about, well, by the way, Croft Fireplaces. Just get to know them, see what they do. You can save on installation right now by going to their website. Go check them out. Croft Fireplaces. All right. Let me ask you this, JJ, because I was looking at all the different things that we could talk about today, and there's so many things that we start to get in. A lot of times we're at the boat show, and it indicates that the Super Bowl is coming up. Like, a lot of times it's on Super Bowl weekend. It just so happens to not be that this year. We're a week ahead, which is actually kind of nice because there are so many things that are surrounding the Super Bowl, the stories that are there. The NFL still hasn't figured itself out all the way as coaches. It was a historic year of firings, and so you have to have a historic year of hirings across the league as well. But, of course, college football is high on our list of things that always fire me up. And there's an interesting thing about what Indiana did by winning the national championship, which was rocked the boat. It's okay for Ohio State to win the national championship, right?
Yeah,
I think even if Oregon won if Oregon won their first national championship, people would be like, you know what, they were due. They're getting good. They're
finally broke through after all those appearances in the national
and it's that old Pac-12 team that we allowed to come get in with the big dogs. I think people would have accepted that a little bit more. Indiana is a hard one to swallow. There are a lot of people who are looking at that, and they look at it and they think that the state of college football has got, and of course the most loud voices on this, that college football is going in the wrong direction is your friends at the SEC. And it doesn't shock me, but an SEC survey result of fans on the state of the conference and on Indiana and the future of college football did not go well. It was very pointed. This is not a group who's very happy. Now, again, a survey of SEC fans is going to yield hilarious results, okay? on any given time, on any given topic. But the
when
fans,
are they going to fire old Burn?
But it is that. And Alabama's a perfect picture of what the rest of the conference feels like, because Alabama goes, this is not us. Like, you're not supposed to be there. We are. You're not supposed to be having success. We are. And as a whole, as a conference, they feel the same way. And they think that it actually has put college football behind on progress because of how well Indiana did. And it's a very, like, the survey was very much along the lines of, that's cute that they won it. I don't think it's good for the sport. A lot of people surveyed said Indiana winning it is not good for the sport. And of all the people that they asked all these things, I'm just wondering, at what point would they be okay? At what point would they be okay with the state of college football? It's the most competitive it's ever been, by the way. And that's the problem that they actually really have. They're not happy about the competitiveness. And they would like it to be more lopsided.
Because that's always been the narrative for the SEC.
Yep.
It just means more. How can it just mean more when suddenly the Big Ten is the bully? The Big Ten is winning national championships again and again and again, while the SEC isn't even making it to the national championship game. So, bad for the game. Why? You know what's good for the game? People watching, people locked onto the sport. What were the ratings for the college football playoff national championship game between Indiana and Miami? I heard a lot of people talking before the game that week. No one's going to watch that
it's
game.
It's a 4.5%
Indiana and Miami.
dip.
No one's going to watch that. 30.1 million viewers.
Dissect that for
The
us.
most watched title game in 11 years and the second highest of the college football playoff era. It peaked at 33.2 million. 36% more people watched the game this year than last year.
What does like a game 7 of the NBA Finals bring in? Like, I just
not even
because
close.
I won't ask the
We had
Super
a game
Bowl.
7 last year,
Right, and I won't ask the Super Bowl question because that obviously is its own thing.
I've got it right here.
What do you have?
So game 7 of the NBA Finals, we just had one in 2025 between the Thunder and the Pacers. We don't get those very often. So we do have one that happened recently.
I would have actually had a hard time to reboot up in my head who was in it. You know when you do that every year?
That's why I'm here.
Which one was it? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So that rating averaged 16.5 million viewers on ABC and ESPN.
That's half.
That wasn't on like a fringe cable network. That was on ABC.
That's half.
Game 7 of the NBA Finals, half of what the national championship game audience was. Half.
Yeah, this sport's sinking, JJ.
Yeah, no.
Just sick of it.
You know, if Bama and Georgia aren't in it, just people aren't going to be interested.
Listen, I talked to my sister down there. She knows Kirby. And when they're on the first name basis with the coaches, she knows Kirby. And he ain't worried. Now, that was the other thing, is that there's a massive amount of people in this survey also that said, we're not that worried about it. We're not worried about you guys up there. You Northerners with your sports trying to come down and humble the SEC. But it has been a rough 3 years for these guys. It's not just about not winning the championship, not being in it is also embarrassing, right?
Yeah.
When you have 5 SEC teams who get in, the numbers are on your side, bro.
And the semifinal team this year was not Georgia or Alabama.
I'm telling you,
or LSU.
They don't
it was
like
Ole Miss.
They don't like it.
Who they don't respect and like either.
If it was Mizzou, they would say the same thing, like, interesting.
That's basically a Big 12 team.
I know. I'm telling you, that is how they treat this thing. It's not just about the SEC. It's also about – I just love reading the survey because they're so mad about it. They're so up in their head about it. So 45% said that the transfer portal is the biggest reason that they missed the national championship last year. I'm going to go ahead and interpret that for you, JJ. 45% of the surveyors were asked about why they were left out of the college football national championship in the last 3 is because of the transfer portal. That by itself should be the number one seller of why the transfer portal has worked.
Yeah.
For us, for college football
spread the
fans.
talent around.
It has been phenomenal. 50% of the folks said a 16-team playoff should be the format. 6% said 24. What that means is a lot more than half are not. They want it to be better than the 12.
It means they just take the talking points from the commissioner and treat it as gospel.
Sure. And then 50% also said that they should eliminate the SEC championship game. Oh, now. Remember that was an
Interesting
option.
thought.
Remember when we were talking about that? Some guy gave the option of, hey, give up all the conference championship games, and you play 13 games through the year, and you've got yourself a big group of playoff contenders, and you end that thing on January 1st because then you can take the whole month of December basically to play that thing out.
The championship game thing is an interesting thought. Here's the problem nowadays with conference championship games is these teams get into a conference championship game, Alex, and some of them haven't even played half the conference.
Right.
You have the ACC has 17 teams. You have the Big Ten with 18. The SEC and the Big 12 have 16. You're playing 9 conference games, 8 in the SEC. So SEC teams are playing half the conference. How do you become a champion of a conference when you've only played half the conference?
Well, and
it doesn't even make sense.
And when you used to, and they finally got on board with it, when they used to prioritize the conference, or when they used to prioritize even fewer games than everybody else did in the conference, right? So they have all these teams in there, and then they go, yeah, we're going to play 8. We're going to play 8. And it's not just half, because I told you, when they add that 9th one, which they're going to start doing next year, it's going to be even tougher.
Right.
And the numbers are just not going to work on their side.
Let me use a Big 12 example. Next year, Texas Tech does not play BYU and Utah in the regular season. Texas Tech is going to walk to Arlington. Walk. There's no competition. Maybe Houston? Who's beating Texas Tech in the regular season?
I love how in 2026
if BYU and Utah
Houston
aren't getting a shot at it.
I know. Well, so you rely on those other ones.
But how is Texas Tech truly a conference championship champion if they never play BYU and Utah?
That's wild.
Can you imagine that? This year it worked out great because they all played each other, but that's not going to be the case next year. And I think we all agree, maybe you throw Houston in there, like I said, maybe Arizona, but the top 3 teams in the conference next year are BYU, Texas Tech, and Utah. They're not playing each other. At least they're not playing Texas Tech, and Texas Tech is not playing them. So just from a Big 12 perspective, you see the dilemma that exists when these conferences get too big. How do you crown a true champion when you only play half the conference? It doesn't make any sense. So I actually don't have a problem with them getting rid of those games.
Yeah, I'm so.
I know why they're going to play them because of money.
Right.
But just from a fan standpoint, from a competitive standpoint, I don't really care.
But the argument of you need us in that you need us in that national championship game, otherwise you're not going to get the numbers. Disproven this year.
Absolutely. Everybody loved the Indiana story. People tuned in to watch it. And it was a great game.
And Miami was out of the ACC that everybody looked at and went, what a garbage conference.
It was a great run.
Yeah.
And who did Miami take down in order?
2 big ones. Ohio State. Wait.
Texas A&M and
right,
the SEC.
At their place.
Yes.
Ohio State by double digits.
Yes.
And then they get to who did they play in the semifinal? Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And then they beat Ole Miss in the semifinal. My goodness. 2 SEC teams and the reigning national champion.
That's a heck of a run.
And that's why you actually get the views, too, as people go, I'm into this, man. All right. Take a break here. We'll come right back. We've got more to go around the corner. Travis Yost, TSN. He's going to give us an update on what happened last night with that Utah Mammoth team who was on its way to one of the best road trips ever. It turned real nasty real quick those last few minutes. So we'll get to Travis, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Next, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
Your home for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on The Zone. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone. We are here at Mountain America Expo Center here in Sandy, and it is the Boat Show and Water Sports Expo. Go enjoy, or come down and enjoy it. Bring everybody along. There's a lot of boats. But that's not all they do. It's not just a one-trick pony here. Tons of boats, tons of anything that has to do with the water, but also anything even close to adjacent to the water sports industry. You got yourself right here under one roof. So it's awesome. Joining us on the program right now, Travis Yost, TSN. He's been with us on this program before. Never after a historic meltdown that what happened last night in Carolina for the Utah Mammoth, because it doesn't really happen very often. First time in the salary cap era that a team was able to come back from a multi-goal, from being behind by multiple goals, and then they ended up losing this thing. It was 4-2. We were all patting each other on the back in our text group that are all watching these games, and just like that, it was 5-4 in a historic meltdown and a weird end to a really, really good road trip for this team. Travis, That was wild, man. Those last 3 minutes were phenomenal, but also really bad if you're a Mammoth fan.
Yeah, no kidding. By the way, I just drove past you guys. I'm like, it's a good time to sell boats. It's like 90 degrees outside in Utah right now.
It feels like it.
Holy cow. I'm like sweating. I'm sweating driving back. But, I'll say, right, games like that, for how good the Mammoths have been playing the last 2 months, boy, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
And I guess that's kind of the beauty of stringing together so many wins in a row is you kind of reset your performance expectations for a team. But, a couple things, right? Obvious meltdown, right? And I think the Utah coaching staff and players talked about, trying to own it and being accountable for what was a late game meltdown. But, you're also talking about tail end of a road trip against one of the premier teams in the league, one of the very few teams, by the way, who actually has outplayed Utah on the year. I think Utah's in the top 6 now in goal differential in the league. One of those teams ahead of them are the Carolina Hurricanes, bona fide Stanley Cup contenders. So very tough loss, but you hope it's an isolated issue and that this team can regroup because, this side of the Buffalo Sabres, they're one of the hottest teams in the league right now.
Yeah, Travis, the truth is we didn't expect them to win that game, and so the result was not shocking, but the way it happened was we'll see how they deal with it. But the bottom line is this Utah Mammoth team is playing excellent hockey. Even in that game, for the minus the last 3 minutes, they were phenomenal on that last game of a road trip. What level of hockey – you're watching all these teams, so we're really lasered in on the Mammoth, but just how high of a level of hockey are the Utah Mammoth playing right now during this hot stretch in the month of January?
Do you want a stat or an argument? I got two.
Both.
I got one of each for you.
Give
Which
us
one do you
both.
want? You want the stat? Okay.
Yeah,
Name
let's do
me
the stat,
which
and then we'll
teams-
argue afterward about it. Yeah.
Which teams in the league have a more prolific offense than the Mammoth year to date?
It's probably got to be maybe the Avalanche, and
That's it.
that's it.
Right there. That is
Okay.
it. The Colorado Avalanche. Utah is now currently the number 2 offensive team.
Wow.
Certainly 5-on-5 in the league. And by the way, I think that's underpinning a lot of what you're seeing in terms of, standing success and why they've aggressively moved up in an otherwise, very tough, at least top half of the division. So, yeah, offense is carrying the day for the Mammoth, especially 5-on-5. There's no doubt about that. The other piece, though, and the argument is this, which I think – and by the way, I promise is sheer coincidence. So, I try and set my articles. I file twice a week, and I typically cover, I would say 90% of it is Canadian teams or adjacent to Canadian team news, trade deadline stuff, et cetera. This Monday coming up, these Canadians from land to land, from across the country, they're going to read about the Buffalo Sabres and Utah Mammoth because the two franchises with probably the two most checkered, last 2-decade history between the Coyotes debacle and, the Sabres 14-year playoff drought. I mean, these were, 3 steps below what I would consider an afterthought franchise. And, yeah, moving to Salt Lake City, Hope Springs Eternal, new franchise, second year, blah, blah, blah. But, these are two teams that no one really ever has thought of or spared a waking moment thinking about when it comes to the playoff discussion. And yet Buffalo and Utah are two of the hottest teams in the league. They're both inside the top 6 in goal differential on the league, which is by far the biggest predictor of what is to come over the next 30-some-odd games. And like I said, Utah – and the Sabres, the connective tissue, and I don't want to talk too much about Buffalo, but I think the connective tissue is this. If you don't have a McDavid or McKinnon, and by the way, there's 3 teams in the league that have this supernova at the top of the lineup, this all-time eraser, and you don't have, the all-time outperforming goalie like a Connor Hellebuck in Winnipeg or an Ilya Sorokin on the island, you need a team that is built off of depth competency, a team that's able to row 3 lines at least and 2 to 3 defensive pairings that are going to outplay the opposition whenever they're on the ice. You cannot have weak spots around the lineup. And that's one of the beauties of the NHL's hard cap league is, if you want to invest aggressively at the top of the lineup, you've got to fill in the rest of the roster with either big hits through the draft and development or you've got to find real diamonds in the rough. Utah, obviously, by the work previously with the Coyotes, a lot of these prospects have now matured into NHL-ready or, at this point, veterans in the case of guys like Clayton Keller. And they look like one of the most cohesive teams in the league. Frankly, if you look from December 1st on, Utah looks simply like one of the best teams in the NHL. And it almost makes you want to throw up after you watch a Carolina Hurricanes game like last night, where it's like it was right in front of us. But there are so few holes on this Utah team in a good way that it more than offsets any concerns you might have about what does the top end of this team look like. The special teams is average. The penalty kills like 15th in the league. Okay. But 5-on-5, especially notable in the playoffs when whistles can disappear in a blink, they are one of the best 5-on-5 teams in the league. It's because they have very few weaknesses across the lineup, and keep your fingers crossed on injury health and things of that nature that you can't control. This Utah team not just looks playoff caliber, but you start wondering if they can maybe chase down a Minnesota and actually secure one of those top 3 spots in the Central rather going into the wild card. The one thing about the Mammoth is, I think making the playoffs would be an all-time, it'd be a fantastic year 2 development. I think we even talked about that early in the year is that should be the goal, qualifying for the playoffs. They're talented enough. They're ready for it. You don't want to play Colorado or Vegas in the first round. You just don't. I mean, that's you don't want to be in that business. Not that the other options are that much better, but if you're Utah and if you're a Mammoth fan, you're getting excited about this team. The last thing you want to see is a 7-game series with the Avalanche in the playoffs.
We have to note that they've done this run in January without Logan Cooley.
Yeah, and then Dylan Guenther for the last couple games too. That's why I was like, last night was so awesome. I think for a lot of people watching it, they go, these wins that they're getting without these guys, their third line. I mean, when Kyler Yamamoto's putting in 2 goals and an assist,
Michael Carcone and Kyler Yamamoto are playing like all-stars.
Yeah, and against that team, it was really interesting to watch. You bring up a phenomenal point because it was like, yeah, they were already dealing with some of this stuff because we got to see last year's version of this team that didn't have the depth and didn't play like a team very often.
No doubt about that. And I think the name you brought up, that is I think indicative of things are going relatively well for this organization right now. Say what you will about Kyler Yamamoto. I mean, he's a fourth-liner journeyman type who's good enough to be in the league, but he bounces around. He's been in the AHL quite a bit. And he's the guy that you typically are plugging into the lineup as your 12th or 13th forward, or you're calling him up from the AHL and just hoping that you don't get killed when he's on the ice. The Mammoth are outscoring teams 5-on-5, 20-12 with Yamamoto on the ice. And by the way, Carcone is very similar. They're +6 there too. And that goes to my point, right? When your third line is routinely outperforming the middle 6 of other teams around the league, it takes so much pressure off of your top line and your top pairing where you're expected to dominate and control games. And by the way, they have. And so one of the things about the Cooley injury that I think is notable, one player who I think has really stepped up his game is Clayton Keller. And that's exactly what you expect from a veteran player who's kind of been through the rigor, so to speak. Frankly, I think, and by the way, we shouldn't have this conversation without saying, the Mammoth are getting I don't think he's the winner, but Vezina Trophy finalist, Karel Vejmelka. I don't think that's I think that's on the board for sure. And so they're getting insane goaltending, average special teams, a very good 5-on-5 team. And I want to underline one very specific thing. This is a team with $14 million, in excess of $14 million in cap space going into the trade deadline next month. You're already hearing names like Artemi Panarin. I know Sportsnet are the broadcasting peer in Canada. I know a couple of reporters have already linked Utah to Panarin, which makes sense because they've got both the cap flexibility and a lot of younger players that teams like the Rangers would covet. But I don't think I think Utah has a real chance to be a big buyer at this trade deadline, further supplement this lineup. And I think the real question is where do you improve it? I think there's opportunity to maybe tinker across the bottom 6 forward group a little bit and upgrading there. But this is a very well-rounded team. And if I'm a Mammoth fan, no hype. This is one of the hottest teams in the league. If you haven't been out to a game, and now is your opportunity. I think the only negative news, frankly, guys, you got a 20-day Olympic break coming. That's icing this hot streak in an emphatic way.
You're right. You don't want this team to stop playing while they're hot. But they will give them a chance to get healthy and heal up, especially with Cooley and Guenther. We don't know if we're going to see Guenther before the break or not, but they'll definitely be back after that break. How interesting is that trade deadline going to be? How active do you think teams in the league are? What are some? You mentioned Panarin. What are some other names out there that could be moved around that trade deadline that you're hearing?
I certainly think Panarin's near the top of the list. One of the reasons why Panarin is so interesting for people who aren't necessarily aware of kind of what's going on in New York, Panarin's one of the better players in the league, 34 years old. He's still a point-per-game player. I mean, he's absolutely fantastic. But one of the reasons that it's become so notable, I would say, is the Rangers came out and basically, I mean, not even basically, they literally said, we are going to be selling, please call us, this is a massive rebuild. I mean, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but they couldn't have been more clear about what they are potentially putting on the table. I think for other names, if you're the Mammoth, and by the way, like, this is not a light expectation. I expect the Mammoth to be significant buyers at the deadline. They have both the bullets you need, a ridiculous amount of cap space, and the prospects or young players or assets that other teams would covet. Outside of Panarin, who obviously has a colossal contract, I think there's other names within the Rangers lineup that could be interesting. Vinny Trocheck could be an interesting middle six upgrade if you're Utah. Slide him right into that lineup. I also think two teams that have had horrific years in the Western Conference. Mammoth have played them a couple times. St. Louis Blues and the Vancouver Canucks. I think Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou are two names to watch. Again, forwards. From the Blues organizations. Robbie Fabry as well. He's a pending UFA. These are all, I would say, middle six forwards, if that's where Utah was looking to upgrade, especially assuming Gunther and Cooley get back to full health. And then the Vancouver Canucks are another team to watch. The name there that intrigues me, you'll hear a lot about Evander Kane, just because he's been around the league for so many years and he's kind of bounced around. I think the interesting name there is Elias Pettersson, who looked like one of the most promising players in the entire league the first couple of seasons in Vancouver. I mean, truly, he was in that, one-of-one type category. And his career has really flatlined over the last couple of years. He's also got a pretty sizable contract. And I think a lot of teams may be reticent to pay, 90 cents on the dollar for a player who already looks like he's declining at a relatively young age. But I have seen this story enough where I think a two-sided coin is always worth considering here, which is as the talent around any player outside of McDavid and Draisaitl erodes, production can erode as well. And I would be fascinated to see what a player like Pettersson could do in a much more talented and deeper lineup that the Mammoth currently have. Vancouver's not in the division, so that also offers up another interesting opportunity as a trade partner. But all this to say, I would be stunned. Stunned would be an understatement if the Mammoth did not upgrade this lineup at the trade deadline. I think they are on my extremely short list of teams that I expect to be buyers in the next month.
Well, listen, Bill Armstrong knows what he's doing. He's a great GM, and I think that he's a guy who, if he sees something, he'll make a move. And they set it all up to be able to make these types of moves right now. And so I think that they look, the second half of the season, which we kind of obviously it's less than a half a season left, but that Olympic break, of course, is kind of breaking the season up for us. But looking forward to it, see what the Mammoth can do, not just at the trade deadline, but if they can keep hot. Certainly they have a couple games left at home before they get into the break, but looking forward to this one. And, Travis, we're going to keep you on this short list of calls so we can get it ready for this playoffs. We're still getting used to this, man. Like, you got to walk us through every step of this thing, man, so we appreciate it.
Amen. I got a 10-second question for you guys.
Yes,
now that you've seen how good this team is qualifying for the playoffs the bar to the clear, or do you want to see them win around?
No, we were all the same boat.
The expectations are going up.
The expectations was, hey, snag a wild card spot. That's what everybody has said this year. Like, that's what everybody said. But when you start to when you put together the month that they had, which was the best month of January that this franchise has ever had in its history, then you start talking, all right, maybe they can run down that third-place team in their division.
11 points out.
But, I mean, it's
a big climb.
It is, but they're in such a better spot last year. At this point last year, because we talked about this, Travis, too, and I'm going long on this, but they were at 43 points through 41 games last year, and that's where they were this year. They got into this stretch, and they have cleared by far what they were doing at this point last year because they had a not very good January and going into February last year. And so that's the difference. They made some moves, and they actually have gotten to be such a better team in that time frame. So looking forward to it.
Thought. I'll leave you with this little statistical nugget. They are on pace. So if they hold their pace through 82 games, this will be the best single season this franchise had going back to 1996. Best single season they have ever had from an 82 game profile. So
awesome.
that is what we're looking at. That's what's on the board right now.
There you go. Travis, we appreciate it, man. We'll talk to you again.
Take care.
There you go. And yet they'll still be in third place. Maybe. They're battling for third or fourth
league,
place.
Man, but that's phenomenal, and that's an interesting thing. You know, we don't think about the Coyotes because, you know, but they honestly are still attached. The truth is, a good chunk of all these guys and Coach Turney were part of the Coyotes, and so
that's a cuss word around here, JJ.
We have to acknowledge that is the history, and that's the history they're dealing with. In this franchise, those players, all that they have not had this kind of success. This is new to everybody involved, and so it's exciting that, and we're spoiled as Utah hockey fans. We get to enjoy it in 2 years, what fans in Arizona never really got to enjoy.
Oh, for sure, yeah. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. More to go around the corner. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Listen, everybody. Real-life hypotheticals to get your brain churning. As JJ and Alex ask, would you rather?
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Can you hear me now, JJ?
I hear you.
Okay.
Yeah. Little technical
I just am like,
you nailed it.
I'm a low talker. Yeah, right. That's
no one's ever called you a low talker.
Never been said.
There's been a lot of things said about you. That's not one of them.
That is not one of them. So we've got a couple things going on. By the way, at the end of our program, the Jazz tip off tonight at 7:30. They got a 6:30 pregame, so you'll hear that right here on the KSL Sports Zone. This next Wednesday is a Win Ticket Wednesday. So we've got stuff to give away. What are we going to be giving away? How about Brian Regan to the Delta Center coming up on Valentine's Day? Yeah, February 14th. That'd be a nice date. Get those tickets at SeatGeek.com right now, or win them next Wednesday on the KSL Sports Zone.
Is he going to do the electric chair joke?
I hope so. I like his vibe, man.
I haven't heard it enough on the radio.
Utah,
I want to hear it again in person.
Utah loves clean comics, man.
Oh, and he's the cleanest.
We will pay.
Squeaky clean.
They're like, I don't know why, but Brian Regan has a 9th show that he's doing this weekend. It's crazy. They're like, I'm staying in Utah the rest of my life. I got a quick one here. Now, this is a little bit of a would you rather, but the rise of pickleball. Can I just talk about it real quick?
The rise of pickleball, huh?
I mean, I'm not like
You're not wrong.
I'm not breaking any news here.
You're not wrong. It just sounds funny when you say it like that.
So there is a National Collegiate Pickleball Association. Don't look over here. I don't want you to look over here because I want to kind of roll this out for you. All right? I have in front of me the top 50 programs in the country.
Wait, college?
Collegiate,
pickleball.
Yes. The NCPA.
Oh, they have an organization.
No, yeah, it's all sorts of things. The Civil Rights Pickleball Group, and it's also the NCPA.
Rights.
The NCPA, National Collegiate Pickleball Association. So that's what we're talking about. Top 10. You ready for this?
Yeah, let's go.
Florida State. I was going to do this as a top 10, but you would just never get it. So top 10, Florida State.
So is that where Florida State's NIL money is going? Is that why the football program's struggling?
That hot pickleball money.
Okay.
Number 9 is Grand Canyon University. That doesn't shock me either. Florida Atlantic. Ohio State. Obviously, they got to find themselves like.
Are the Buckeyes winning everything?
I guess so. They're number 7 in the country. UCF actually has
Makes sense.
The number 6 team in the country.
They got to play you around.
How about this? Like, success just bleeds into all the programs. Indiana's number 5 in the country in the pickleball, National Collegiate Pickleball Association.
Signetti coach them too?
Yes. He does. Very, very inspiring. He gets those New Balances on and those white
really
tube
good
socks.
At evaluating pickleball talent.
I got you.
He's got an eye for it.
Number 4 in the country, our own Utah Valley University Wolverines.
Hey, go Wolverines.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's great. Virginia Tech at number 3. The University of Washington at number 2.
Jake Scott will be glad to hear that. We'll
I know.
talk about him about that in the next minute.
But listen, yeah, they don't have a lot to hang their hat on, the Hokies. So
it's all in pickleball now.
The University of Washington, number 2, and then coming in at number 1. Any guesses?
Probably not in the Midwest.
No.
USC.
Utah Tech University is the number 1 collegiate pickleball team in the entire country.
Trailblazers, baby.
I'm gonna do what people in my neighborhood do. You should talk a little bit more about the Utah Tech pickleball team on your little show. That's what I get.
I'm sure we'll get an email.
Look, I'm going to refer back to this segment whenever that happens. So there you go. All right, we'll come back. We've got more around the corner. Jake Scott, pre- and post-game host and half for the Utah Jazz on the Jazz Audio Network and right here on the KSL Sports Zone, of course, with Jake and Ben 10 to noon every day. So we're going to take that break. We'll come back. More to go. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
What time is it?
Your exclusive home of Utah Jazz basketball is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Lowry driving to the rim. Packed it right on the grill of Draymond Green. My goodness, Lowry Marketing, you are a mean, filthy man. Keontae with a round ball robbery. Keontae across the half court, scoops to Collier, attacking Hield, gets it blocked from behind. Anderson picks it up, kicks to Key, 3-ball good. Kicks back to Anderson, 5 on the clock. He goes to work on Santos, into the purple paint with 4. Wiggles, finds Lowry at the rim for the dunk with 0.2 seconds left on the clock.
You're locked into JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Check it out every Tuesday night on KSL 5. It's the NBA on NBC. Have you seen Ben Anderson's NBA on NBC trucker hat?
Yeah.
Instagram tried to pitch that to me, and I was really close. I was like, that is a sweet hat.
It is.
Ben got it, and I was like, well, I can't do it now. Now I look like I'm copying off of Ben. It's not a good. He's not a bad person to copy off style-wise. Jake Scott, though, joining us on the program right now. He's the king of style at the station, if you're going to ask anybody. So Jake joining us, of course. He's pre-half and post, Utah Jazz. Jake, welcome to the program, man. I was thinking about how David Locke's life has gotten a lot more fun when you have some consistency out of Keontae George, and you get a lot of scoring out of these young guys now, and they're not turning into a lot of wins right now, and certainly not a lot of defense, but this team's been a lot more fun to watch this year. Would you agree, or are you – I know you like to pump the brakes on small successes when it's the long game we're trying to play.
Well, I don't think I've ever heard the name David Locke and fun in the same sentence. So that's
You're exactly right, actually.
That's a thing. And I am by far not the best styled at the station. I have my own unique style, yes, but I'll leave that to the TV people. I think there are little things to be encouraged. I mean, if we really want to look on the broad, I don't think they predicted Keontae George would be quite this good.
Yeah.
And so him going out and having some of these nights and really showing CJ Miles was on with us the other night for the entire pregame show, which was super cool.
That's fun, yeah.
CJ is Keontae's godfather. CJ and Keontae's dad grew up together and played together in high school.
What are the odds?
And so CJ, I know, right? Isn't that wild?
That's wild.
So CJ is pretty dialed in on the Keontae journey, and he was just talking about how all the little things have clicked, like the effort, what you've got to do, but right down to little tricks, to be able to put your defender in positions where they can't possibly defend, little stuff like that. And I think it's pretty. I think it's the biggest story of the season so far with the Jazz is Keontae turning out to be a dude. I know it's like a cliche now, but everybody goes, oh, dude, if you redraft that draft, it goes like Wemby Keontae. But it is kind of true. I mean, it really is.
It is now,
yeah. It is kind of true. I mean, I think he gets clowned a little too much by people on defense. I think I'm not going to call him Gary Payton or anything, but I think he's maybe a better defender than a lot of people give him credit. Again, I don't think he's going to, shut down the other team's best player by any means, but at times in critical moments, he's had some good defensive possessions. So, yeah, I mean, if you're watching Keontae every night, you're probably feeling pretty good. I think Ace Bailey has been really good the last, I don't know, what do you guys want to say?
Yeah, a couple weeks for sure. He's had a great run, yeah.
Especially since he came back from that little injury he had.
And this sounds weird and very anti-me, but, he's been a little bit more selfish, which you kind of like, right?
Yeah.
Go down and hunt a shot that maybe has, guys like Coach Lacombe going, ooh, I don't know. But he, finds a way to make it because he can get his shot off and he's so, long. Those types of things I think Jazz fans should be encouraged because they've got, regardless of what happens at trade deadline or whatever next year's pick it turns out to be, a few of these guys have got to hit. I mean, that's the key with the rebuild. You got to hit. Oklahoma City got Shea. Yeah, that's great. But, they hit in other places, right? They hit with Ludort, who was undrafted. They hit with Chet, who was top 5?
Yeah, number 2.
They hit with Jalen, brother of Cody Williams, and he was 12, 13, I want to say. So you gotta hit on these dudes, 2 or 3, and then start moving out of the rebuild. And I think you can safely start throwing Keontae in the hit category. Obviously Lowry's there. I thought, Walker was well on his way to being a hit. So, you got to hit on 2 or 3 of these regardless of where they're picked. And probably good news that one of them's Keontae George. And I think another one is going to be Ace Bailey, but he's still, he's still a rookie.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about that, though, too. And you're right. You hit on number 16 in a draft. That can have a massive impact on what you're trying to do. And what do you think, what impact does Keontae hitting have on their future? Because you mentioned you got to have those guys, but to be able to hit at number 16, to be able to hit on a point guard, which we were unsure Keontae was going to be, how does that speed up what the Jazz are doing right now or impact what their rebuild looks like?
Well, in the media, it means they're going to have to start finding excuses not to play him, probably, which is unfortunate, honestly. But it means, okay, let's put it this way. Like, think back to a previous rendition with the Jazz where you had Carlos Boozer, Mehmet Okur, and Darren Williams. That was your big 3, to use a cliche. And other parts of the team obviously have to be there too. But that's going to be the focus of your team. And
those 3 guys played in All-Star games.
You got to have 3 dudes. Even if they're not scorers like Clay, Steph, and Draymond, even if they're playing different roles, Michael Scotty and Dennis Rodman, it doesn't necessarily mean 3 scorers, but 3 dudes that you build around. And if Keontae is one of those guys, I mean, that's a huge notch off the list, right? I mean, getting one of those 3 guys, however you do it, is not an easy thing to do. I think if you look at the Donovan and Rudy's teams, I don't think they ever found the 3rd dude, right? So it's easier said than done. And if, you feel like Keontae's taken that kind of step and is one of those guys, I mean, that's a huge relief, because then, you find 2 more, and maybe those 2 more are on the roster or whatever, then you're kind of off to hopefully, contention land. So having one of those slots filled is a huge deal.
The Jazz are the worst defensive-rated team in the league. They give up the most points per game. Hey, but guess who comes into town? Another really bad defending team, the Brooklyn Nets, coming to town tonight. That's a team who has even fewer wins than the Jazz do this year. How does tonight shape up with the Nets coming into town, and what's the word on who might be missing tonight and who's going to be in? I know we haven't gotten the final – I don't think we've gotten the final injury report yet, but what are the possibilities?
No Lowry tonight. Or the report in front of me. No Lowry. I think no Nurk. I think they're resting. But as far as tonight's game goes, and I've said this before, but I don't know if either of you guys watch South Park. If you've ever seen the baseball South Park where they're playing Little League and they're really tired of it and want it just to be over and to get on with their summer, and so they go to the Little League World Series. And they start playing against these other teams that, lo and behold, everybody is trying to lose. So this story turns into, who can lose the best, and, the team that loses is cheering, as opposed to, and the South Park guys are like, oh, we got to go on to the next round. Brooklyn and the Jazz, it's going to be a little bit of that. Although I did see, I think, anyway, you guys correct me, I think Michael Porter Jr. is going to play. So maybe at least he's not on the injury report anywhere I saw. So that, they won't intentionally rest their best player, I guess. And who knows, we'll see. But as far as the defense goes, really quick, honestly, I've seen the Jazz get dragged a bunch online about this. Oh, they're last place. Do you realize that their starting and best center is Yusuf Nurkic, who wasn't a good defensive player when he was in his early 20s? Let alone, at this stage in his career. And hey, we all love the triple doubles, and he's got, he does some things for you, but, be a rim protector and play defense is not one of them. And then when he doesn't play, who's the guy at the rim? We're either talking Kyle Filipowski, who is not a center, and Will Hardy has mentioned that repeatedly because I'm pretty sure he feels bad for the guy. He's like, I'm putting him out there to get dunked on by every big in the league.
I know. He's getting pushed around by Draymond. It's like, come on, this kid, he doesn't need this right now.
Dude, hey, Kyle, go give us some minutes on Wemby. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not fair, honestly. And then Kevin Love is your other option, who's never been a center a day in his life, even when he was in his 20s in a rebounding machine. And then here's my favorite one, which we'll probably see tonight. The next big after that is Kyle Anderson, who would describe himself to you as a point guard. So I honestly, listen, everybody can get better defensively, right? Like Bryce Sensabaugh to stay in the league has got to get better defensively.
Yeah.
Keontae's got to get better. Whatever, young players got to get better defensively. But if your only available big is Kyle Filipowski, it's going to be a layup line. No offense to Phil, but it's going to be a layup line all night. So I don't know. That number is really skewed to me. Plus, they're not really trying to win, and so what's the best way to win is go out and guard. So it's just not a priority.
So I was looking because I saw last night that Michael Porter Jr. went off against the Nuggets. He had like 38 and 10.
Highly motivated.
But he ruled himself out for personal reasons today. So not going to be playing.
Okay, so he is out. All right.
Yeah, for personal reasons. I don't know, whatever that is. But it is what it is. He's not going to be playing tonight, so that's at least a benefit, I think, for the sake of being able to get some back there. But he's Jake Scott. You're going to hear him in about 2 hours from now. Yeah, 6:30 I think is when the pre kicks off today, and it's going to be a home game, of course, across the street at Delta Center from our place. And so, Jake, as usual, man, we appreciate you coming on the program and helping us out through this thing. Did you get to say a hearty adieu to Hans today?
Oh, you know what? I didn't see him today because they were on remote.
Yeah,
and I got to see him yesterday and the day before, and got to say goodbye. I said a little something on the air today, but oh man, Hans and I go back a long way, and I loved working with him. That guy, he's larger than life. And speaking of basketball, real quick, give Hans a shout out. When we first hired him, he knew nothing about basketball, guys. He didn't grow up a basketball fan. He just didn't. He's a football wrestler. Didn't know he was going to do sports radio in Salt Lake. That dude poured everything he had into figuring out basketball because we got in his ear and said, "You got to know how to talk about the Jazz." Said, "Okay," and just went all at it, and he's done it with a bunch of different stuff since then. But just kind of an example of how seriously he took what he did, and how good he was at it. So, man, I know I speak for most of, or for all of us when I say we're gonna miss that big guy. That's for sure.
Yeah,
won't be the same.
Jake, we appreciate it. Good luck tonight with the coach on the pre-half and post, and we'll be listening in. We appreciate you joining us, man, as always.
Anything for you guys.
Thanks, Jake.
There you go, Jake Scott. Yeah, station, man. Everybody's like, you kind of do this like existential thing, like what's going on right now? Hans is leaving radio. What's even the meaning of life right now, man? So we had a little bit of that moment this week where we all looked at each other and went, "Oh, I guess it's real."
Everybody have a slice of pie in memory of Hansel's.
Well, he's still with us, but it is going to be the Hans Olsen Memorial Studio.
Well, we're looking for a new sponsor, so now that Hans is doing what he's doing, we're going to have Hans sponsor the Zone Studios.
Back in the day, Ethan Millard and myself, when we were hosting Nightside on KSL News Radio, we called it the Dick Norse Memorial Studio. We got in trouble. They're like, "He's not dead," and you're like, "I know, but
doesn't work here anymore."
I know, and I think maybe it was because Doug Wright wanted it to be his studio. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's what really was
probably
going on.
What it was, yeah. All right, we'll take another break. We'll come right back. We've got more around the corner. Stay with us. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All the latest news and notes from the league and the locals in the NFL. JJ and Alex bring you the NFL Blitz on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, live from the Boat Show. Right here at Mountain America Expo Center in Sandy. Don't short it, though, JJ. It's the Boat Show and Water Sports Expo.
Got to include both. It's more than just boats.
Yeah, listen, I'm telling you right now, if you're in the business, or if you're in if you're shopping for a boat right now, like, I know that sometimes you look and you go, yeah, they said show pricing, but – and then some people get on and go, we saved you money by not going to the boat show. And it's like, no. The manufacturers incentivize the heck out of these dealers to cut some prices here, man. So get down here. And if you're a boat person, even if you're not, become one. Did you see there's a hair extensions place here? I don't know.
They got it all here.
That might be the first for me. Is that a water situation? Like, it won't come off on the boat?
You got to look good out on the boat. You see the social media posts.
JJ,
You get the boat, and then you got to look good on the boat.
Have you seen, like, I want to go full Landon Donovan and get the.
Oh, my. I don't think you ever want to go full Landon Donovan. And if you don't know what we're talking about, Google Landon Donovan hair.
It's amazing. It's flowing. It doesn't look right, but it's flowing.
It's hair.
I could glue that. There's like a full red wig over there. I could glue that on top of the old head.
Why not?
See what's going on.
That'd be a wild look for you.
Hey, NFL Roundup. That's what that music, of course, means. And we're 1 week away from the Super Bowl. I did definitely some guys talking some S here at the show. And by S, I mean Seattle Seahawks.
Some S?
You're right. I mean, these guys were like, oh. Yeah, like, these guys come around. Everybody's got their team.
Yeah.
But we start talking about it because I have my little boys here, and they're like, who do you guys want to see win the Super Bowl? And I was like, oh, the Seahawks. And they're like, pfft. And then I'm like, all right, let me hear your team. 49ers, Broncos.
Well, I'm a Broncos fan, and I'm tired of the Patriots being there.
I know.
So, yeah, go Seahawks. Why not?
Well, that's what he's asking. He goes, I'm a 49ers fan. Should I cheer against the NFC West foe? Or should I hate on the Patriots? I go, it depends on what your hate level of the Patriots is.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, they were worse than the Chiefs. It's hard to watch the Chiefs have success, and you rooted against them for a long time as a Broncos fan.
Brady and Belichick are no longer with the Patriots. It feels like a new era. It doesn't feel like the Patriots, but the brand is still there. The helmets are still there. The logo's still staring at me, and I'm like, come on, man. Like I gave that little bit of trivia, I think, earlier in the week. The last time either the Patriots or the Chiefs weren't playing in the conference championship game was 2010.
Right. Yeah.
When the Steelers and Jets played in the AFC championship. We have Chiefs fatigue for sure, so it was nice to see them take a step back.
Oh, that was Sly's Super Bowl year, by the way.
It was.
Yeah.
But the Patriots being back in it just brings it all back. So I don't want to see the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I've seen that before.
Okay, I've got in front of me.
Go Seahawks.
I found a. I love to hear that. Hey, pull that drop, Annapolis. Future use.
Well, that was a mistake.
Go Seahawks. It did have a little bit of reservation behind it. It was like, go Seahawks.
I mean, yeah, you didn't see 100% commitment there, did you?
Kind of swallowed hard after that. You're like,
go Seahawks just for the next 10 days.
Yeah. So I've got in front of me since it's the 60th Super Bowl, I've got the all Super Bowl team in front of me. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Tell me what you think. This is your offense. And they went into it, and they kind of went first, second, and honorable mention. Starter, backup, and then they have the depth chart. So, quarterback. Tell me if you have a beef with this at all. Tom Brady, number 1.
No.
Joe Montana, number 2.
No.
Patrick Mahomes, your backup.
Interesting.
You could make an argument for your guy, John Elway.
Yes, he appeared in a lot of them.
You can make an argument for Troy Aikman, who showed up and just won Super Bowls.
John Elway played in 5 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Won 2 of them.
Troy Aikman played in 3 of them and won all 3.
That's correct.
And
didn't have crazy stats.
No, because I'll tell you why. Because the number 1 running back on the list is Emmitt Smith. And I don't hate that pick either. Your guy, TD. Terrell Davis getting on the – yeah, Terrell Davis making it on the list. Franco Harris for Pittsburgh named to the
as he should.
Backup. They only put 1 fullback on the list. And it's the only fullback that deserves to be named ever anymore. Larry Zonka. He was on the all-face mask team, too, by the way.
Absolutely.
That, won the 2 bars and the bullhorn on it. Loved that thing. Lynn Swann at wideout. Jerry Rice at wideout. Julian Edelman at wideout. Backups, Cliff Branch. That's, of course, during the 70s run for John Madden's Raiders. And then John Stallworth, also on the list. Art Shell at left tackle. Talk about old school. Orlando Pace for the Raiders. I mean, for the Yeah, I know it was
The Rams.
It was the Rams. Sorry. And then Gene Upshaw, also during the John Madden times, and then Nate Newton. How about that? Nate Newton, is he still with us? Don't look it up. I think he. By the way, he looks very different if he is. Well, obviously, if he's passed away, he would look very different. Sorry. What?
Nate Newton is still with
Okay.
us.
Yeah.
Is he not with society?
Well, no. I mean, he lost a ton of weight. Looks good. All right. Centers, Mike Webster and Creed Humphrey. Larry Little, right guard from the Miami Dolphins. Mark Schlereth. That's one of your old Bronco guys, right? So this
Stink.
is, yeah, there you go. So that's a big one.
Good to have a Bronco on the list.
So who else do we have here? Oh, and then Gronk, of course, at tight end. Travis Kelce, the backup.
That's pretty easy.
That's
two.
an easy one. Anthony Munoz and Forrest Gregg, your other side of the tackle side of things. Now, here's your defense. Did you have any problems with those guys on the list,
No,
by the way? You had to really weigh out a lot of the old school.
Well, you got 60
years.
Super Bowls.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to, and especially on the offensive line, it's very heavy 70s.
Yes.
And Forrest Gregg, obviously, with the Packers, dynasty in the 60s.
Yeah.
So, but I appreciate that.
I'll
because
tell you
back then, you watch all that old NFL films and you see those guys, and how often do we highlight offensive linemen like we did back in the day?
I'll tell you that the defense is actually heavy, older school.
Makes sense.
Reggie White at D end.
Yeah.
Richard Dent on the other side. Joe Green at defensive tackle. Manny Fernandez.
From the University of Utah.
That's right. How about Reggie Kinlaw, your nose tackle? By the way, also gone the way of the dodo, calling them nose tackles anymore. That's why they only listed one. Aaron Donald, the most contemporary, right? And then Randy White, a little old school Cowboys shout out there. Bruce Smith, you can't.
Played in 4.
You can't leave. That guy, they didn't lose Super Bowls because of Bruce Smith.
Right.
That guy is one of the best athletes that's ever been at that position. Elsie Greenwood, also from the Pittsburgh Steelers 70s
And the Miller
era.
Lite commercials.
That's right. Lawrence Taylor and Charles Haley. Oh, my. That's straight in my childhood.
Yeah,
Just
you've got to
jammed
have
right in the
Lawrence
middle of that.
Taylor first team for sure.
And Charles Haley, if you'll recall, if you've watched the Dallas Cowboys documentary, have you seen the Charles Haley part of that?
Yeah.
It's pretty hilarious. But I think he has 5 Super Bowls.
He won Super Bowls with the Cowboys and the 49ers.
So Ray Lewis, inside linebacker, Derek Brooks for Tampa Bay, Von Miller and Jack Ham. That's a pretty good, nice little list there. Mel Blount and Lester Hayes, your cornerbacks. That's a heavy duty. That position could have been fought out by anybody.
Yeah.
Herb Adderley and Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders listed as the second string. That's pretty freaking good. Ronnie Lott at free safety with Willie Wood backing him up. Ed Reed, there you go. There's a little bit more new. And then Darren Woodson, also a guy who's a little bit more contemporary. There is your all 60 or your Super Bowl 60
some
all-time team.
Great names, man. A lot of Hall of Famers.
Anybody on these two teams that you look at and go, those people could be on the list at some point? Or even could be in the NFL Hall of Fame right now.
We're talking about the
two.
Seahawks and the Patriots.
Seahawks, Patriots, people who could be in the Hall of Fame on any of those rosters.
Well, I think Jackson Smith and Jigba could be on his way.
Cooper Kupp had
he was a Super Bowl MVP, right?
He was, I think, was he a league MVP too? No. But he had 1,900 yards one year, right?
He had a special year, yeah.
He's been All-Pro at least twice. And so... And he's like, isn't that crazy that Cooper Kupp's in his 30s?
32.
And he's looked at like the veteran wideout now.
Yep.
He
guy was the Super Bowl MVP.
How many yards does he have in his career?
Total? My gosh.
Yeah.
You'll
never touch Jerry Rice anymore. That's just one of those things I don't think he'll ever get clipped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do think that I do think that you got to let some wideouts into this thing. And from a careers perspective, oh man.
He's only at 8,369, 59 touchdowns.
A little bit more meat on that bone. You
got work to do.
Yeah.
But Cooper Kupp, Super Bowl MVP. If we're just talking about all-time Super Bowl team,
I could be there.
Then
could be there.
He's going to get some recognition.
If he has if he has a really good one for Seattle, which I know he's not wide out one, but
that would probably put him over the top, especially at this stage of his career.
Yeah, with 2 different teams.
But look at the receivers you got at top is Lynn Swann, Julian Edelman, and Jerry Rice. Now, Lynn Swann wasn't the greatest Pittsburgh Steeler, receiver of all time, but he was incredible in the Super Bowl.
And then Julian Edelman was in 100 Super Bowls and probably has the most.
He made an incredible catch that helped
Yes.
the Patriots come back and beat the Falcons. That catch is one of the greatest catches in Super Bowl history.
Of all time. Yeah.
So it's tough to knock any of those guys off.
I was looking at this, and I was wondering, like, with this list, you go, who gets left off of this thing? I don't have anybody in my head who should be still there. I mean, like, I guess Mahomes being the third quarterback on that list is something that probably a lot of people have a hard time swallowing that one. But, you know.
You have to give him I'm a Broncos fan. I got to give him his credit.
Well, I know, but at the same time, there are a lot of people who are like, Joe Montana, I don't know. I think you probably saw more out of Patrick Mahomes, but you're like, no.
Joe Montana won 4 Super Bowls and never lost one.
4-0.
And he was awesome in every single game. They
4-0.
dominated in those Super Bowls, with the exception of the Bengals one, and he led that game-winning drive at the end.
Right. No,
Joe
for sure.
Cool.
All right, we'll come right back. When we return, we're going to be speaking with Gus from Sundance Marine, and we're going to get you updated on the types of deals that Gus is going to roll out here for you. Okay, so stay right here with us. More to go. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Before we get out, I want to make sure and mention, too, Beehive Meals, of course, our big sponsor on the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. What is that? Well, we open it up for you to nominate a youth sports volunteer in your neck of the woods for doing an awesome job. Somebody who goes unsung. That's what happens. Youth sports, a lot of times there's those volunteers who are just doing so much more to try to help out your kids to love sports. And if there's somebody in your neck of the woods that's doing it, a coach, a ref, a volunteer, a team mom, go to kslsports.com/contests and nominate them today. And they will be, if they're nominated and they win, we read that nomination off on our show. We put them up on all the socials that we have. And then Beehive Meals hooks them up with the $250. So we'll come right back. More to go around the corner. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing. When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Our top 10 right here on the program. We're going to chat with Gus in just a moment here from Sundance Marine out of Grand Junction, Colorado. Then he and JJ started to jam about your old days when you were in Market 147 at Grand Junction.
I wish it was 147.
Oh, is it lower?
I probably would have made more than $18,000 a year.
Everybody had to do their
Market 189.
Hey,
there's only 214 in the country or something like that.
Yeah. Where are those? Those are like
Montana.
In the Dakotas?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you doing your work down there, and then Gus is going to get you some deals here at the boat show. In the meantime, I have a top 10 here for you.
Sweet. Let's go.
I'm going to make Gus listen along here, too. Our top 10.
Gus can play if he wants.
All
I need all the help I can get.
JJ does pretty well, usually.
My brain's fried this week, if you couldn't tell.
What? You?
It's been a long week.
It is most weeks, but this one was especially.
Yeah.
All right, I've got in front of me the top 10 most profitable sports teams in the world.
Most profitable? What does that mean?
That means
we know about value, evaluation.
Yeah, like their value. It's not that. It's their year-on-year.
The money they're making.
They're pulling in. Yeah. So it's actually, it's kind of interesting because it's talking about operating income. So that money that they bring in, and that that's your. Their sales of tickets and blah blah blah. Their stadium pull,
okay.
and then merch. Obviously, it's a big one too. So
we're all across the world. What's the limitation here?
The limitation is, I'll just tell you right now, it is across the world. But I will just give you a hint that there are actually no football clubs involved in this.
Really?
Yeah.
No soccer teams.
No soccer teams.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll leave it at that. But there are no. I'll just say there's no European soccer club at all.
All right.
And obviously that wouldn't
That's
mean
a shock.
else. Yeah, I was kind of blown away too. Here we go. So you got 60 seconds on the clock. Our producer Alex is going to be hitting it up here. So on your mark, get set, go.
LA Lakers, Boston Celtics.
Hold on. Slow down.
Why?
Because I want to go. Because I want to take my time to go. I'm
not going to get them
all
in.
Cheating. Plus the list is hard to see. Okay, keep going.
Now.
No.
Turn Gus on. I need help here.
Okay.
Yankees, Mets, Dodgers,
Dallas Cowboys. Ding.
Pittsburgh Steelers, New York Giants, LA Rams.
Ding.
Okay. Seattle Seahawks. San Francisco 49ers.
Denver Broncos.
Wow.
I think. Oh, well.
New England Patriots.
Ding.
Okay.
Duke Blue Devils.
Hey, you have to include college nowadays.
I like that move, Gus. I like that move.
Alabama.
No.
What baseball team am I missing?
You can't cheat.
There's got to be a baseball team, right? No baseball? Am I missing hockey? New York Rangers.
Detroit Red Wings.
Toronto Maple Leafs.
Ding.
Gotcha.
All right.
Montreal Canadiens.
No, the timer went off.
It did?
It's a tough list.
Well, you wasted 20 seconds of my time.
Stop. You wouldn't have gotten these. That was the interesting thing about this list.
It's hard.
Okay, so let's go to number 10.
I listen to every prominent franchise.
I know. Toronto Maple Leafs. This
Okay.
is operating income.
Proud I
don't
got
know
that
why.
one.
I don't know why this is the case. The Houston Rockets are tied.
Houston Rockets?
At 10, yeah, 9 and 10, at $191 million in operating income last year.
The Houston Rockets?
How about, it's going to get weirder.
Okay.
The Philadelphia 76ers pulled in the 8th most money of all the franchises across the world. The Atlanta Hawks at 7.
No way.
Yes, $203 million.
The arena's half empty every night they play.
I don't know.
Help me understand
I don't know.
this.
I don't know. Operating income for the New England Patriots, $222 million.
Got that.
Number 5 is a little bit of a cheat. The Mercedes-Benz F1 team.
Oh.
At $227
I didn't
million.
think about F1.
F1's wild. I mean, it's its own thing.
Okay.
The Rams at 4 at $244 million.
Got that.
The Oilers, the Edmonton Oilers, at $244 million.
That actually tracks.
Operating income. The Golden State Warriors.
Oh, yeah.
That I was like, come on, you're getting the
I
Lakers.
missed them.
I
got close.
They're number 2 at $409 million.
That makes sense.
And then the Dallas Cowboys. Gus's Dallas Cowboys at $629 million in operating income.
Wow.
Like, they blow everybody else out of the
That's
water.
why Jerry doesn't care about winning anymore.
It's a weird list.
They're making a ton of money.
Yeah. That might be because those teams are good at saving or something. I don't know. Because those NFL teams, a lot of times, they have this crazy operating income, but their expenses are also
merchandise sales, ticketing.
Yeah. I'm sure there are teams that make more money but don't.
I don't get the Hawks and the Rockets. That was very stunning.
No, they're good. Their owners are really good at being cheap.
Jerry Jones is frugal.
That's exactly right. All right, more to go around the corner. We've got tons to deliver here for you. We're going to talk a little bit of, speaking of teams that lost to Arizona this week, BYU is heading to the Fog, man. And that's going to be a tough one.
And they've played well there.
Yes, they have.
In the times that they've gone.
And Kansas is playing better basketball than we've seen them play over the past 18 months.
Well, it's all about AJ versus Darren. Darren Peterson's going to play.
Let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
Well, Mitch Harper's going to join us and break down a couple of things here for us right around the corner. So stay here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen,
the biggest name. You're locked into JJ and Alex. With the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Appropriate music. I'm actually disappointed that we haven't had Yacht Rock all day now that I think about it.
We are at the boat show.
The boat show is real.
Christopher Cross needs to help us sail away today.
There is a yacht company here.
Help us go sailing, I should say.
I don't blame them for not bringing the actual yacht in here. It would be the one that probably wouldn't fit through the doors at the Expo Center.
Fair.
So they have a model there, though, and my kids are like, we should get this. And I was like, the model? And he goes, and they're like, no, we got to get this boat. And I'm not kidding. I mean, you've seen the houseboats that have 2 or 3 levels.
Yeah.
This one had 4 levels and a helicopter pad on top.
Oh,
yeah.
High roller.
Yeah, listen. I think to have a conversation with them, you got to show up with some bank statements. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but guess what? They also have awesome deals here at the boat show. They're not yachts. I bet you'd actually get a pretty good deal on a yacht. I mean, they'd knock a few $100,000 off.
If there's a place for you to get a deal on a yacht, it would be the boat show.
Let's do it. Lots going on in the program. We're kicking off the show here at this hour at the boat show. And our guy, he is the BYU insider for KSLSports.com. He is our own Mitch Harper joining us on the show. So let's jump in right here, top of the program. Let's do it.
It's time to get the inside info on BYU with Cougar insider Mitch Harper of KSLSports.com on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Trajan Wealth brings you this portion of the show, TRAJAN Wealth.com. It's Trajan Wealth for all your trusted local needs in retirement. Mitch Harper, what's going on, man? How are you, dude?
Doing good, guys. Happy to be with you tonight.
Good to talk to you. Always good to jam with you a little bit. We just had a massive University of Arizona fan come over to the booth. Convenient time for them to come in and start talking about bearing down and Wildcats and blah blah blah. Look, that was a heck of a game. At least the end of it was a heck of a game. Look, to go into that game playing the number one team in the country in your building, but being down by double digits most of the game did not help that team's cause. I know that it was fun to watch the Cardiac Cougs come back, but you can't do that against the number one team in the country and feel like you're going to get away with it. No question.
And it was, BYU, they got the three ball working with them for them, and they had 13 made threes, and I thought that was going to be, a real X factor against an Arizona team that doesn't put up many threes, yet Arizona's style of play once again won the day. They are a tough out. They can beat you in so many different ways, and they didn't even have great play from guys like Koa Pete, Toby Awaka, Krivas, and they still pretty much were in control for about 35 minutes of that game against BYU. BYU's got to play a lot better. I think that there is reason for optimism going forward. I don't think this is a hit the panic button moment for BYU, but they definitely have to respond after that missed opportunity at home.
So I'll take the positive approach to this game against Arizona for BYU. They did come back just like they did against UConn. It felt very similar in the way the game ended up shaking out. BYU lost by 3 to the number one team in the country, and A.J. DeBonsa and Robert Wright combined to go 9 of 40. They're not going to have many days. I can't imagine them having any more days struggling like that from your top two players. Mitch, you see what happens, and how important it is that their big three has it going on. But I can't imagine you're going to have that rough of a shooting night from those two guys, and they still found a way to have a shot to win it at the end.
I agree, and because we've seen this entire season that AJ has been a really efficient player, and nothing was working for him on Monday. Even his signature mid-range shots weren't falling. Nothing was falling for AJ in that game, and he had a lot of open looks, just didn't hit them. And so I don't expect that much going forward. I mean, if you're going to have the bad performance, let it be, I guess, against the number one team in the country. I expect a big bounce-back performance tomorrow against Kansas in a spotlight game where, so many NBA scouts and people are going to be looking to see that AJ versus Darren Peterson matchup. I think it's going to be a great game. I would expect, a bounce-back from AJ and from Rob Wright, too. I mean, he's so good at getting downhill for this BYU attack, and he's got to do a better job at finishing at the rim. He's been really good, too, at three-point range, about 40% this season. Just kind of an off night for those guys, but I don't expect that to be the norm going forward for them.
Mitch, one of the things that this team has done is since they've been in the Big 12, they haven't been afraid of going to play well at Kansas. And going into Fog is never going to be easy, but they need to bounce back, and they need to get some wins here because of how difficult the rest of this, even just the schedule right in front of them. They're playing a lot of really, really good ranked teams in the Big 12, which it's chock full of. But how do they get this one against Kansas at Fog tomorrow?
I think, BYU has got to take care of possessions. They're 14th in the Big 12 right now in Big 12 play in turnovers. That's going to be something that I'm kind of curious to watch for in this one. Kansas has played some pretty good defense. I think Kansas has turned the corner a little bit. I don't put them in the same realm as, Arizona or Texas Tech or Houston. They're kind of in that next grouping with BYU. And, both of these teams, I think, are looking for a signature quad 1A type of win. Because when you look at BYU's resume to this point, their best win probably to date is the season opener against Villanova in Vegas. As strange as that sounds, because they played a lot of good teams, that's probably the best win. And it's a good win, but it's not a great win. And yet they're still probably a top 16 seed in bracketology right now. But if you want to get into that 2-seed, 3-seed territory, you got to get wins like the opportunity in front of you tomorrow. And, I think that BYU has got to take care of the ball. I think also, too, there's so much talk about Darren Peterson, but Melvin Council, a grad transfer from St. Bonaventure, he's been taking over the ball a lot more in recent games. Peterson was out in the last game, but Council has become kind of like the fan favorite for Kansas, and he's a real difference maker. He's going to be one to watch tomorrow because he's been so impactful for this Kansas turnaround where they started out really slow. Looked like they've kind of turned a corner with that team.
So, Mitch, what is on the line for A.J. DeBonsa Saturday? So much is being made of this matchup between him and Darren Peterson. I know it's just one game, but it feels like this is a pretty big stage, and we saw what he did on that stage against Utah the second time around. What is at stake for A.J. in this game?
It really feels kind of like a narrative game in so many ways, where it just feels like, because really it's like no matter what happens tomorrow, AJ at worst is the number 3 pick, a top 3 pick. Same with Darren Peterson. At worst, probably top 2 for him. But so it feels kind of like a little bit of almost like a narrative game where people are going to make these grand conclusions about AJ and BYU based on the outcome and his box score in this game. But I think the great thing about AJ this year and what's been so impressive about him is that he's really not about making it about himself. I'm really curious to see, BYU spacing and kind of getting that ball flowing a little bit, passing the ball, making those half-second decisions, as Kevin Young talks about so much, because you got to still have the isolation opportunities for AJ, but kind of get that ball spread around. And AJ likes to do that. He just hasn't had the knockdown three-point shooters around him consistently to where, BYU can turn to that. But you'd like to think with Kennard Davis getting a little bit of momentum, hitting 5 threes on Monday, maybe he can carry over that momentum into tomorrow. Alexei Kostic coming off the bench can add some value. And Richie Saunders, too. Richie's had a little bit of up and down in terms of his knockdown percentage on three-point shots. Richie's big in this game tomorrow because with guys like Rob Wright and AJ, they will find Richie. They will find the open shooters. You got to knock them down. So that's going to be big because I think AJ, he's obviously going to be, wanting to probably perform at the best he possibly can, but ultimately he's not going to make it about him. He wants to just get a win because he's 0-2 against Darren Peterson in the high school ranks. He wants to get the victory on the college side.
Mitch, when you consider how long these basketball seasons, the conference season in the Big 12 is just a knockdown, drag out every night. And getting through all of this, does it, like when you see the bracketology stuff, does that kind of stuff compute with this team and with Kevin Young, or do they just go, look, we're in a tough conference, 3 seed, 4 seed, you fall to a 5 seed maybe, or you go up to another? Like, does that stuff matter to them, or because obviously, like when you get to the end of the season, people start talking like that, but I don't know if that kind of stuff actually affects this coaching staff or these players.
Yeah, I think you're right, Alex. I don't think they are really fazed by that right now. And I think they understand, though, that if they want to get to the destination that they believe they can, which is maybe a Final Four, they've got the top-end talent in this roster to do that. But it hasn't looked like that for a few weeks now. They just haven't consistently strung together some great basketball. And the nice thing about Kevin Young, what we learned last year about his team, his program, they can go through some lows and some peaks, but they don't peak until March. Last year that was a team that didn't peak until March, which is what you want to do. And I think that's ultimately the reminder that you always have to have in this Big 12 gauntlet is whatever happens tomorrow, you got so many opportunities in the Big 12 to boost up that resume and schedule, that you can, improve your seed lines, and you ultimately want to play at your best in March. But I think for this team, if you do want to get to a Final Four, you want to be in that, 2-seed territory, 1-seed territory. And 1 seed might be a distant thought at this point, but 2 seed could still be on the table if you get hot and turn things around, because last year we saw the NCAA tournament was chalky. And if you want to have the best path or maybe best odds to get to a Final Four, you want to get as high of a seed as possible. And that's, I think, what's important with these type of games, because ultimately this team's going to be in the NCAA tournament. That's not a worry. It's just getting the best possible seed that really matches up with the talent that this team, I think we all think, has. and if they can live up to that.
Yeah, still 5 games against ranked opponents in the Big 12 coming up: Kansas, Houston, Arizona, Iowa State, and Texas Tech. So the Cougars are going to get those shots. But you're right, Mitch, they got to start winning those high-profile big games against conference opponents. And to do that, they're going to need somebody to step up. How important was it to see Kennard Davis finally start knocking down threes? And if he's able to do that, maybe not at that high of a rate, but just consistently contributing from the three-point line or on the defensive end, what will that do for BYU's chances moving forward? Because we know who the big three are.
I think it's huge because, there's been games where BYU, you go with the TCU, Utah game in Salt Lake, where they were hitting about 22% from three. It's been really up and down shooting the three ball this season for BYU. And if Kennard Davis, who was viewed as a 3-and-D guy and someone that this coaching staff looked at, maybe in a best case scenario, he could work his way into a two-way deal potentially one day as a pro prospect maybe. He's got to knock those shots down, because it was almost like a back against the wall type moment on Monday in that second half where he had missed 13 consecutive threes. It was getting to the point where, can he contribute to this team anymore? I mean, what's going on? And then he hits those 5 threes and really turned it around. That was big for him. And I think that's going to be something that you hope that can carry over into Saturday and the weeks ahead for this team, because they need that. Because outside of the top 3, and to a lesser extent, Kaba Keita, who you can consistently expect a certain level of play from Kaba, about 6 points, 9 to 10 boards every single game. But the rest of it, you don't know what to really expect. And so it'd be nice that you don't have to get, 70 plus from your big 3 every single night, because as of late, especially in these big games, it feels like you almost need 75 points from the big 3 to have a chance. And I still would say tomorrow you probably need at least 70 from the big 3, because I haven't seen enough consistently from the Kennard Davises, from the Alexei Kostiches, to say that you can confidently expect that. But they have given you flashes that maybe they can ease the workload for that big 3 to not have to expect as much in what's going to be a super energized crowd. I mean, at Allen Fieldhouse, it just sounds like, these Kansas fans, they are hyped up for this game. And who would have thought 2 years ago that a BYU game would conjure up this much excitement for a blue blood like Kansas? And that speaks to the growth of BYU's program and the opportunity that's in front of them. So huge opportunity. And I think the big 3 for BYU will show up, but those supporting cast pieces, will they be, deer in the headlight looks for that big stage? That's kind of to be determined. That's going to be something that's interesting to see tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up, because the wild thing is, and maybe we get convinced of this, but I like BYU actually has the higher profile, like, top end of their roster over a Kansas team in Kansas. So they're just as compelling as Kansas is, and that is it's not a thought of like, oh, they could come in and sneak away from the big time program with an upset that, a couple of years ago that was the case. And now, to be that team that's out there that would have just as much firepower as Kansas is pretty wild. I want to ask you a quick football question. The transfer portal, of course, if players are already in there, they can be signed by teams. How active do you think BYU will be in the next little bit here, I guess, around? Are we going to hear anything between spring, or is it going to be something that we hear maybe post-spring, or what's kind of the rest of how stuff shakes out on a calendar for these players to maybe still sign with BYU or Utah or whomever?
You could see a few more preferred walk-on type of transfers maybe added. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you see maybe 1 or 2, but for the most part, the good bulk of BYU's roster is on the board for 2026, and it's just maybe plugging some gaps. And if there is a maybe injury or 2 in spring ball, maybe you could adjust accordingly and go get someone in the portal potentially. But for the most part, the portal has been rated in terms of guys that can, be expected to contribute right away for maybe a Power 4 program, and one like BYU that's going to have high expectations. But I think that's going to be, BYU will be very selective going forward, but for the most part, their roster's intact for 2026, and it's a really good one that the Cougars are going to have next season.
You guys, I'm assuming, are going to have a little bit of a short show for Cougar Sports Saturday tomorrow, right, before you guys walk into coverage of basketball?
Yes, we will have coverage beginning. We'll have noon to 1:30, so in that 90-minute show on News Radio, and get ready for BYU and Kansas. Should be a really good game.
Cougar Sports Saturday. Mitch Harper. Of course, you see his byline at KSLSports.com. Nobody in this market better than Mitch Harper covering the BYU Cougars. Mitch, we appreciate it, man. We'll chat with you again.
Hey, take care, guys. See you.
There you go.
Thanks, Mitch. Harper. Some great college hoops in the state tomorrow. You got BYU on the road, not here in Utah, but at Kansas. And Utah State's hosting San Diego State tomorrow morning, 11 a.m.
Do you like that time, by the way? I was wondering about that. I was like, I wonder if Aggie Nation likes that.
I think you'd prefer a night game.
Yeah.
But is San Diego State, is that going to bother San Diego State more than the Aggies?
Yeah, it could be. And
that is a weird time for a college basketball game.
It is, and especially at the Spectrum, right? Where you're used to. I'm like, give me an 11 p.m.
Right.
It feels a little bit
rowdier
more.
the better, right?
Right.
It's tough to be rowdy at 11 a.m., but we'll see.
No, you got to get the Aggie ice cream flowing a little bit earlier. Wink.
I like that.
Make some special root beer floats.
Absolutely. Wink. Yeah. Glug glug. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I don't know what they do up there. You know?
Who knows?
So, all right. By the way, and then BYU goes down. They stay on the road next Wednesday, and they play Oklahoma State, and then they go to Arizona after that.
That's going to be fun.
Down in Tucson. So
the Big 12 is just awesome for
hoops.
It's
bonkers, man.
It's really good.
Okay. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We've got more to go around the corner. Stay with us right here. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You know what's coming.
Your daily deep dive into everything Utah Jazz.
It's time.
All season long and even in the off season. It's Jazz Daily with JJ and Alex on your exclusive home of Utah Jazz basketball. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 KSL Sports Zone. Click on the Mammoth schedule there because my computer took a
Let's
smoke
take a
break.
look at it real quick before we get to the Jazz.
I just was wondering because I know that the Mammoth are coming back home. It's Jazz Daily. But
3 games before the Olympic break.
I know, and they're not particularly easy.
Well, Dallas isn't. Vancouver should be a walk.
Detroit's,
and the Red Wings might be tired by the time they come to Salt Lake.
That's okay.
Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll take that. Man, they got to bounce back.
That can't linger, right?
It's a tough taste in the mouth. You know what I mean?
They played so well for 57 minutes.
As I went back and forth with my buddy Matt, who's maybe the biggest hockey fan I know and probably the guy that knows the most about hockey that I know, and that's including all the guys that we work with and stuff. Like he's an expert on this stuff. And he goes, it went so fast. He goes, it happens in hockey sometimes, but he was like in shock. He was like, man, to go 3-1 on this trip, man, they could at least sneak a point. Man, they just gave up because it
happened so fast.
You can't have a hangover because that can absolutely derail your feelings about what this team is and I mean not really, but I mean because they've had such a. I was glad that Travis Yost had kind of a normal view of it. Like, yeah, look, but this is still one of the best teams in hockey right now. Then you back it up with the numbers and how consistent they've been, and it's pretty hard to argue with, but. Could go the other direction. We saw it go the other direction at certain points of the season.
Certainly.
So, but I think they've gotten better at hockey. Like they've gotten to be a better team over this time, and interesting to see what they're going to do with Gunnar. I don't know what his status is going to be over the next couple of games here. If you just keep him out while you get ready for that Olympic break,
you could really use him because getting 6 points here would be amazing.
Getting Cools back after the Olympic break, which is probably the most likely. That'll be huge, too. But then you also go, all right, what's it going to take for him to integrate back into this situation? That's always a question mark, too. So, all right, Jazz Daily. Jazz tonight at home against the Brooklyn Nets, one of the worst teams in the East, facing off against the Jazz, who are 13th in the West. How do you see this one shaking out, JJ? Because I'm looking at this one, and I go, okay, Michael Porter Jr. is not playing in this game for personal reasons for the Nets. The Jazz are going to be without Lowry, right? He's going to sit out for and Nurk. So it looks like it's going to be a night where Chianti and Bryce Sensabaugh, which was what they've done over the past however many weeks it feels like.
Which team is tanking harder tonight? I think it's going to be the Nets.
Oh, my gosh.
The Jazz are at home. Key will have a big night. Bryce Sensabaugh has been on a tear lately. He had 22 points the other night against the Warriors. Every time he's stepping out on the court now, he's doing something great. So I think the Jazz have enough firepower at home with Michael Porter Jr. out. I'm curious to watch Yegor Demin. It's good to have Yegor back in town.
Yeah. He's on
pace. He's going to be in the Rising Stars.
Yeah, he's on pace to fight someone tonight.
He's having a great rookie season. A lot of people said, yeah, no kidding. He mixed it up the other night. It was fun to see.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
But hey, there's a lot of people that said, oh, Yegor, he can't shoot. He's not going to be able to shoot in the NBA. What did he do? He's gone out and he's been a pretty darn good shooter in the NBA so far. So.
But also he's like turned into this like fan favorite because he's like a funny interview. He says
he's great personality.
But he also talks like a kid.
Yeah.
Like he's still 18 or whatever. He's 19 maybe. And he's like, and he just says hilarious stuff. And you're like, that's the kind of guy that an organization can go. Guy fights his butt off. He's, NBA body is to the T. Just like this long dude who could shoot and can defend. And so I'm happy for him too because that was a really cool. Think about just like how quickly that came together for BYU. They get Yegor. He's there for a year. He does what he did and ends up being a first rounder. And then they get the best player in the entire country the next year. Like that.
They're why trying to recruit another top 20 guy to bring in next year.
Yeah. It's
that's what you have to do if you want to compete at that level, and BYU's trying to do it.
Pretty crazy. But this Jazz team, I think just as impressive as the run that Key has had this year from a consistency standpoint. A guy who's been popping up, obviously. More recently, and a guy who's been also pretty consistent during that time frame, though. Bryce Sensabaugh is just as good at scoring the basketball right now as Keontae George is, and he's been a huge part of them staying in games and then being a part of these. And he comes off the bench and scores 20 like nothing.
That's the way it's been lately. Obviously, he had that one big 40-point game, so things have kind of evened out over that time, but he's still hitting 20 pretty easy. And if Bryce Sensabaugh is going to get to the point where he can score 20 points consistently, even if it's off the bench, all of a sudden the Jazz have found another element of this rebuild that they can invest in. Now, there's some things he's got to do in other areas of his game, especially defensively, to prove that he can be on the court for 20, 30 minutes a game. But the scoring is there. The ability to put the ball in the hoop is there in different ways, too. I mean, another thing we've seen from Bryce Sensabaugh this year that we hadn't seen quite yet is his ability to get to the rack. I mean, he can throw it down pretty hard when he gets full head of steam. So he's been showing that part of his game as well, becoming a more all-around scorer and not just relying on his jumper. So there's a lot to like about Bryce Sensabaugh right now. And if there's a guy to watch tonight, if Bryce can come off the bench and have another big game, whether or not they win the game or not, obviously there's some Jazz fans that want him to lose. But whatever camp you're in there, you're going to be entertained tonight because the Jazz are going to have a lineup that's going to be fun to watch out there tonight.
Which is weird because I think early in the season it was like they're going to have a lineup that's ready to lose tonight. Yeah, like that's how. I mean,
last year that was how it was every game.
Every game, and I think that
now you're like win or lose. I'm actually going to enjoy watching this team
because they won 17 last year, right?
Yeah,
and they've won 14 this year, 15 this year.
Yeah,
so they're already obviously well above it, but maintaining that spot.
Their pace has slowed dramatically. I think if they continue this pace they're on at currently, they'll only get to about 22 or 23 wins. That's how rough it's been lately.
Speaking of rough, whatever sickness has been going around this Utah Jazz team, not good.
Yeah.
Kevin Love's going to be out. Nurk is also out, presumably. I mean, they're both listed as illness. Cody Williams also listed with illness, but he's questionable. That's a lot of guys not – he's not going to go? Sorry. No update yet. So still questionable. But, yeah, so a lot of dudes out. With and Lowry, of course, still hasn't gotten all the way back into game shape, I'm assuming.
Still not playing a full load of minutes.
That's convenient, too, for them to go, he's going to rest.
Yeah.
So lots to watch tonight with this one because I'm interested to see how this Jazz team pops back. I mean, I love hearing – Will Hardy in that last break that we just had on the Jazz update, we both chuckled about it because he'll – like full-on Popovich will come out of that guy from time to time, right? Where it's like –
you can tell his influences.
He'll be super positive, and then he's just like, and then it's something like borderline insulting, right? For like these guys, he goes, "Yeah, they had us spinning around like tops. We didn't know what we were doing." You know what I mean? Like he just goes right at these guys and goes, "We aren't good enough. We are not good enough." And especially on the defensive end, when you give up 140 a night, it's pretty tough to watch.
It's definitely a spot where this franchise is going to have to grow moving forward.
Yeah.
Most important thing is to find guys can be, and they found stars, but. The defensive part, I wouldn't sweat that too much. That's going to come, and they can find those pieces later on. But you got to know who your stars are, your core is, and the Jazz have found that.
Well, let's take a break. We'll come back. Final segment of this hour, around the corner. Don't want to miss it. Best and worst is next, and we're going to chat with Bridger about some pontoon boats. Okay, we're going to educate you on pontoons. All right, when we come back, more to go. 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone. All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone. This is a fun thing for us because we've obviously been talking about the Ivory Homes big game giveaway. JJ, you've been talking about it for the last few weeks here. We've been getting some people, whittling down some finalists, and getting to know some of those people. So I'll turn the time over to you because this is your gig. But, man, this is a fun time here for us.
Yeah, well, I think we got some finalists that are dialed in. Alex, you want to punch somebody up for us? You got it? Okay, who am I talking to right now?
William Morton.
William, do your friends call you Bill?
I actually go by Craig, my middle name.
Craig. Oh, there you go. Well, how would I have known that?
Well, it's a secret. Now the secret's out.
Now we know. Well, Craig, how you doing? Are you familiar with my work?
I am.
Good. Every year when the Super Bowl's on NBC and KSL, I get to go to the big game. I want to take somebody with me this year. I want to take somebody to the big game, and Ivory Homes has pitched in. They're going to help us do that. How would you like to go to the big game this year?
I would love to go. It's a dream come true to be able to do that.
Well, Craig, your dream is now reality. We have 2 tickets to the big game on Sunday, February 8th in Santa Clara, California. 2-night hotel stay. Are you available?
I'm available.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
All right, and we got a $2,000 gift card for travel expenses. Craig, I have great news.
Oh, wow.
You are the winner of the Ivory Homes First Down Big Game giveaway.
Oh, my gosh.
You are going to Santa Clara.
Yes. Awesome. That's awesome. I really appreciate that.
So tell me.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, you have no idea how incredible. Like you said, this is a bucket list thing. We're so excited to give you this opportunity. Real quick, I just wanted to ask, how did you go check out some Ivory Homes? How did you get registered?
Yeah, I've checked out a few, but I actually seen an ad online on Google.
Okay.
And I just happened to apply for it and was hoping for the best, and apparently the best has got me.
Did you make one entry?
Just one entry.
You got it with one entry?
Wow.
One entry.
Dude, you hit the lottery.
God's on my side.
Hey, I'm sure you don't care if we call you William or Craig. Either way,
I don't care. Either way.
We're going to congratulate you. You are going to the big game. Congratulations, you're the winner.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
All right, enjoy it, man. Well, I might see you down there.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. Yeah, I hope so. At least come say hi.
You got it. All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Enjoy it.
Hey, thank you. Thank you very much.
That is so cool.
Can you imagine?
No, I can't. You know why?
Because big game tickets.
We give away big game tickets, and no big deal. You get to go every 4 years, but never been.
Maybe you should have
ineligible.
Entered.
Ineligible. I should have gone this year just out of the sheer.
Come up with an alias. Come up with a fake
name. Come on, man. My Seahawks are in there.
Dude, he got it with one entry.
Good for him.
That's awesome.
That's really cool. Well, congratulations to him, and that was a cool thing that Ivory Homes was able to do.
Yeah.
And to
Thank
be able
you,
to
Ivory
give that
Homes.
thing away.
That's awesome.
Dude, I didn't know that the $2,000 travel expenses situation was.
This is an incredible prize.
So you're going to a hotel. They're not. Are they? Is Craig staying in your room? Is that how it works?
I might stay in his room. He's got a really nice hotel.
Because I know a guy who's got a $2,000 gift card going down there. It's Craig.
Yeah.
So if you fall short on the stipend,
Craig has a bunch of new friends.
Dip in, man. Dip in. All right, that's cool. Congrats to him, and thanks. Yeah, start asking for time off right now. You know what I mean? I'm glad we did it a week ahead of time, so it's good. We'll take a break here. We got more to go around the corner, getting you ready for the Jazz at 6:30. So stay tuned. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.